Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class here on Saturday. It is September 13th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Central Time as I'm coming to you live. And I appreciate all of you being in on the live. It's so fun to see your comments roll in before the live starts. So fun to read what you have to say. So welcome everybody. We are going to be altering a kit today. Today is kit day. Yay! I try to do one of these each month. I'm in love with kits. I love paper pumpkin kits, so I definitely share alternates with that every month. And then I also love the kits collection. And the kits collection is different in that you can go to the online store and shop from it. You can purchase as many kits as you want when you're looking at them. You can do that with Paper Pumpkin too. You can purchase them, but you don't know what the kit is with Paper Pumpkin beforehand. With Kits Collection, you do. So we are gonna play around with the Brighten Your Day Kits Collection kit. This was one that a lot of people had said, did you get it? Did you get it? Are you gonna do anything with it? And of course, yes, this is a great one. I love it. It's got really pretty pastel colors in it. So I think that like photographing it is difficult. Like when you look at it on the website, it looks paler than it is, but it's got some really rich color to it, even though it's pastel. So we're gonna take a peek at it really quick. Let's go to the desktop and I will open, well, first let's just kind of zoom in on the pamphlet thing that comes with it. This is the piece that comes in the kit that has the directions, but you can see that the color, gets deeper in certain spots on the base cardstock pieces. And when you open it up, you can see there's purples, blues, kind of a brownish beige color. Those are the instructions for building up those 3 of 3 different kinds of cards. You can make 9 if you follow the directions in the kit. But what I like to do is I like to make alternates with it. And one of my favorite things, it's a go-to lately. I don't know why I'm obsessed with it. Maybe because people comment on it and appreciate it, but I have been multiplying kit cards. So basically what that means is I take the contents of the kit, I add a bit of extra cardstock, an embellishment, sometimes a stamp set, because this one doesn't come with a stamp set. So we have to add in some stamp set imagery like sentiments. And then I take and create more cards than the kit instructs. So we're gonna take 9 cards and we're gonna show how to take and turn them into 36. 36 cards. You're gonna quadruple the cards in the kit if you follow these instructions. The envelopes are the key in several kits, and that's because the envelopes typically come with these beautiful designs to them. So we're going to open up our envelopes and use them as designer paper, and that's how we can get way more cards out of a kit. So when you peek at this, you see we have envelopes in here, and I have already used up 1/3 of the kit for the samples in the photos. By the way, my blog post is connected to this video right now. It's live. So if you want to, you can see all the cards ahead of time by clicking on that link and peeking in on it, okay? It's scorching in Puerto Rico right now. You know what? Summer is not over, is it? Good morning to you, Maria. So look at the beauty. And then, the other side of the envelopes too, right? So there's designs that go right through to the back side. So I've used up 1/3. That means that there's 2/3 left. And what I mean by 1/3 is that, again, the kit is 3 of 3 different kinds, right? So I've already taken 1 sample of the 3 different cards and envelopes, 1 sample of all the pieces, and I've made the cards that I've photographed. So we're gonna do that right now. We're gonna separate out pieces. That's the first thing I like to do, is separate out my pieces so that I have everything in sections. This kit, like I said earlier, does not come with a stamp set, but instead it comes with these little labeled pieces with sentiments, and you can choose whatever language suits you. If you have a multilingual audience that you send cards to, you can certainly use all of them, which is great. But what I like to do is take these pieces here and flip them over. So we can use those pieces still, but stamp on them instead with sentiments in our language. So we're gonna go ahead and go through that real quick. while I'm doing that, I do want to share with you that I appreciate all of you coming to my channel today to tune into the live. If you are new to my channel and you're watching and you don't know how to get in on the live, what you want to do is log into your Google or YouTube account, and then the live option should appear for you to join in on the chat. Now, if you're watching on a device like a TV or whatever, I don't think you can do that. I don't know. But computer, laptop, that sort of thing, those all work. Oh, these frames would be great for a card too. I did not use them, but I was thinking I could have. And then we have these laser cut images too, right? So we have these really easy to punch out images of, we have birds and leaves here. And then, and you can use, this is another thing too that I considered using in my cards and I did not, but you could punch out additional pieces of cardstock or make strips and do, you know, other things. You could even use the tissue paper if you wanted to. The tissue is just to protect the different laser cut images in here. Now you can accidentally tear these, so you want to punch these out, especially on this little section here. I found that the first time too. So be really gentle when you're pulling these pieces out. We're going to cut these because there's a lot to these laser cut images. I think that if we take and cut them into 2 usable sections instead of just having them as one, we can make more cards. So we're going to do that. Let's start with that first. So this is 1/3 of the kit. This is the other third. We're going to put those aside. Other things that come in this kit are twine and adhesive. I always have to bring in additional adhesive. This one comes with little glue dots and dimensionals. It looks like the dimensionals are, because I haven't even opened them up. Oh, regular dimensionals, okay. And I'm bringing in these dimensionals, which are the same size, and the mini dimensionals. And you can purchase those as separate product in the online store. One thing that I don't do much with kit alternates is use the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, dies, embossing folders, that sort of thing, because I want anybody who's a beginning crafter to be able to duplicate what I create. So if you are a beginning crafter, if you're new to my channel, say hello. We would love to welcome you. This is something I also did not use on my alternates. And I think it's because the vanilla just to me only worked with maybe this color. And I don't know, I wanted it to be white instead. So I just set it aside and didn't use it at all. So you have extra pieces, I guess is what I'm telling you. You have extra things that you can use to make even further cards. You could do more than 36. For this one, we're going to take our paper snips, or now we would just call it a scissors because Stampin' Up! Does not have the paper snips anymore. And I'm just going to, we are in transition with our scissors, by the way. I'm just going to look at my finished ones. So I want to make sure I'm doing this correctly. Sorry for the noise. Okay, so for this one, we're going to take and cut right in through here to separate this flower from the leaves above, and then we're going to cut through here to separate the leaf from the stems of that flower. So that's an easy cut, right? 2 separate pieces like that. We'll leave those stems on. It's going to be fine because we're going to put a sentiment over that. This one's also fairly easy. I'm trying to remember how I did this now. I think I went in as if this was a branch, a separate branch. Let me look here. Okay, so I just took and cut this. Hang on. I have to lift it up. Oh, you know what? It doesn't matter. You can just cut it straight if you want to. But I think I cut it first into just like a branch that ended kind of like in a point in case I wanted to see it. But we're going to cover up both ends of that so it doesn't matter. And then through here, we're going to cut through the bird on the head. Oops. To curve around the bird's head like that. And then we'll just trim this up. We'll just shape that leaf a little bit. Okay, so now we have 2 separate pieces for that one. And then this is the complicated one, and I have to look at my examples. I think I cut this into 3 pieces. I did. Okay, so let me grab my cards. 1, 2, here's the other one. Okay, so for this one, we're going to keep this kind of middle section intact, and we're going to cut away this top one and this bottom one. All right, so it takes a little bit of like little stamp surgery here. So if you look closely too, you'll see that these, I don't know, are they fern leaves? They look like they're just touching each other. There's not a lot of overlap. So you literally can go in and you can separate stems and sections of leaves from each other without disturbing the edges of these branch pieces, right? So we're just coming in and we're going around, making the cuts not real blunt. We're kind of rounding them out. And there's one piece. Oops. They are light and delicate. So there's one. Remember I said we're going to cut these into 3 pieces, okay? Then the next one is up in here. So again, just going around, kind of curving our scissors as we go. Pretty easy, right? And then in this section here, I want this one to stay intact, so I'm just going to go around like that. So it still looks like it wasn't even connected to something else because we're just carefully separating to make the leaves still look like themselves. And in this area here, we want to cut there. And you can be a little bit more careful and round them out, but you can't really tell that they were even connected to something else. So we have these 2. These are going to go together on one card. And then we have this one by itself. So in a sense, we have the ability to make 6 cards from the layers for 3, okay? Hi, Polly. Good to see your name pop up. For the card bases that come with the kit, see, look at the rich colors. They're even better when you look at them, you know, in person or on the camera, because you can see the depth of the color. There's more to it. We're going to cut these down so that they are 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So let's bring our trimmer into play. And I think I'm going to put some paper over the top of these so that we don't accidentally catch anything on there. Okay, we're going to cut these down. And all of them are going to be the same size. So if we cut right on that score line that's already given to us here, that would be 4 1/4 inches. That is half of 8 1/2, just like regular card making. But we're going to scoot this back a little bit. We're going to bring it to the 4 1/8 inch mark. So we're going to lay that right here and trim. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side, so we may as well do that now. 4 1/8. And then we can take, and this would be great for a card layer too. Like if, again, if you want to go beyond the 36, use these little pieces here. Otherwise, I just scrapped them. For the second cut, because we want to do a second cut along this edge here, I took and cut off the lightest portion. So I stacked my cards, and instead of cutting at 5 1/2, because that's how wide they are already, I brought it back 1/8 of an inch. We're cutting at 5 3/8 inches. So we're bringing our paper edge right there, and we're going to trim. And again, these little pieces here, which I guess I didn't push too hard on, could be used for something else. So we have a couple card layers. Let's go ahead and trim the rest of these down. 4 1/8. I just had to press harder. You typically don't want to cut more than 2 layers of cardstock on the Stampin' Trimmer, just so you know. You could do probably like 3 layers of designer paper because that's thinner. But for cardstock, we want to go a little bit less than that, 2 layers at the most. And then press hard as you cut. These are all scrap. So now we have our blue layer and our beige layer. Let's check this one out because I'm cutting off the lightest edge. And thank you for your sweet words, you guys. All right. There we go. I'm catching a lot of your comments, and you are so kind to me. Now for the envelopes. Let's do the envelopes. The sentiments are set for these three, but we do have to stamp these. Let's set those aside and work on the envelopes next. And then we'll pretty much have all of our layering done. The envelopes are probably the most challenging part because all of them are a little bit different, but we're going to start with the same cuts. We're going to start by cutting off about a 1/16 of an inch. And a 1/16 of an inch on the trimmer is right over the top of this dark spot here. So I'm just going to move my edge of my envelope right over the dark and trim. And now I've got a 1/16 of an inch off that side, cover up the dark, channel again, and cut. Okay, then we can open this up. And we have a piece of designer paper that is stunning, right? For this paper, I took and I just trimmed through the middle. So I looked at where the leaves were. You can see there's a leaf here and a leaf here. And I wanted to make sure that those stayed within the sections that I cut. So I just eyeballed it. There was no measuring at all. I just eyeballed it. For the flap, I took and put this straight edge along the top of my trimmer. Okay, keep it straight. And then I grabbed this corner of the flap and this corner of the flap and made sure that they were connected to that channel of my trimmer, the place where the cut's gonna go. And it looks like this one comes out to be, oh gosh, and you know what? I can check it on my finished one too. Let me just measure that. Because they might be a little off, a little different, but this one, oh, I did. I went right to the 3 3/4 inch mark here, but I think, yeah, that'll work. Let's do that. 3 3/4, okay? And that'll make this edge flat here. And again, gorgeous piece for something else if you want to use it. I'm just tossing those. And then we want to make sure that these edges are straight too, because we have a little curvature. So I'm just going to rotate it in and we're going to trim. Let's trim this side first. So I'm bringing that point right to that spot in my trimmer up here. And I'm going to trim. And I know that cuts off a lot of little foliage in here, but try to just grin and bear it. We're going to trim that. And then we're going to rotate it. And if this here is 3 3/4 inches wide, which is a 1/2 inch short of that dimension on our card, we can turn this and make this a 1/2 inch shorter for this direction, which is 5 inches. So this one becomes 5 inches by 3 3/4 just by doing those steps. We have a layer. For this one, you can see we have a fold through it. And you're going to see that on your other 2 envelope layers as well. We're going to just use that as part of the design on the card. So for this one, we're going to cut it. And I believe I did those to 5. Okay, so I did this one at 4 1/8. Okay, same size layer as the card base layers. Where did they go? These pieces in here. These next layers are going to be the same size. They're going to be 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So you're going to go to your trimmer and we're going to start here, keeping this design within, and we're going to cut. None of this will be used. Trash it or do whatever you want with it. If you do not like this little edge here, there's a little bit of edge there, you can take and trim that. So you can just go into your trimmer, maybe cover up that dark space again, and slice it. And now we have a nice straight edge with beautiful floral imagery. This one's going to go to the 5 3/8 inch mark over here, and we're going to trim. Okay, there's that layer. How are we doing, everybody? You're sticking with me, right? Is anybody making these along with me? I would love to know. And then also, how many of you have this kit? If you've got this kit, I would love to know that too. All right, good morning, Faye. How is Orlando? Is that hot today? Puerto Rico is scorching. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing. Let's trim off the edges. Flip it over, trim off the edges. Again, we're just covering up that channel, that dark spot here near the channel of the trimmer. Open it up, cut between the two layers. And this one here, I think, oh, this one's different. So I'm gonna set that aside. Let's work on this one next. We're gonna do the fern leaves next. Trim and trim. Okay, let's open this one up. And I'm gonna peek at my finished cards. This one, gosh, you guys, I got a lot of stuff over here. And where's the other one? Here it is. Okay, so for these two, you can see how the leaves kind of overlap in the areas. Like if we were to cut through here, we would see a little bit of this over on this layer, and we'd see a little bit of this over on this layer. It's okay. We're still gonna cut in half. We're gonna cut in half around the, or did I do that cut first, Rachel? Hang on, I'm gonna do something really quick. We're gonna trim the end. Let's do the end first on this one. So we're gonna trim this flat, and then we're gonna turn it around, and we're gonna cut at 3.5 inches. So this one's done a little bit differently. We're not gonna worry about this over here because this layer is gonna be slightly smaller than the other flap layer that we did before. What's 85 instead of 95, Faye? You don't have it. Oh, the temperature, because I just asked you. Well, that's good. All right, so now we're gonna move to 3.5 instead of 3 3/4, like we did on the last one. And we're slicing. And again, we have a little bit of leaf over here, but this layer is gonna be smaller. Let's straighten this side out. And ouch, I know we're cutting off some of that beautiful imagery, but that's okay, it's not gonna affect it too much. We'll rotate it this way, and this cut is gonna go to 4 3/4, and that's gonna remove this little section up here. And now we have that layer. So this one is 4 3/4 by 3.5. Slightly smaller than this flap layer. Okay, it's slightly smaller. These were both from the flaps. This one is gonna get cut in the vertical direction. So we're gonna straighten this out. I think what I did first is I cut this first. Yes, I did. I cut this first to 5 3/8. Okay, we're gonna have a nice tall piece here, 5 3/8. Trimmed, put that aside. Then I trimmed off this little part here because that bothered me. So we're gonna trim that away. And that's slightly over that dark spot. It's almost 1/8 of an inch that we're cutting off. Okay, we'll remove that. And now we can take and rotate this and cut this at 4 1/8. So this is gonna be a vertical or portrait piece. You could turn it this way if you wanted to. I chose vertical. And then on this one, we are going to do something very similar. So let's trim the flap again. I think I did my odd one first. These two are the same, I think. So we're trimming that part, then we're gonna rotate it, and we're gonna cut at 3.5, and I'm making sure, yep, that one's 3.5. And you can see I cut right through the design so that I have this for one card, this for another. Let's flatten this out. And then we'll rotate it, and we're going to trim this. If this was 3.5 this way, we want this one to be 4 3/4. And that should be the same size as the last one we did. Okay, so these are our flap pieces. One is wider and taller because it has more floral in it. We just want to keep that all together. These two are the same size, and we're going to make this one the same size as well, but one is vertical and one's horizontal. This one we're also going to make vertical, so we're cutting that at 4 1/8. Oops, hang on. We're not doing that part first. We're gonna cut it 5 3/8 because we have to trim up that left edge there. Remember that left edge over here where we see a little bit of overlap? So we're gonna trim that off. And then we're gonna rotate and cut at 4 1/8. So that's how I did the envelopes. It takes a little bit of thinking on the envelope part, but you can section out those areas. They all have creases through them, but we're gonna work with another product next, and that is silver foil sheets. Silver foil sheets, gold foil sheets, any kind of foil sheet I think of as an embellishment more than a cardstock type of layer. So we're gonna grab this. Oops, I just threw a bunch of pieces, scraps around, hang on. Okay, we're gonna grab this, and it's a 12 by 12 piece, but we're gonna cut 1/8 inch strips from it. So we're gonna lay it in our trimmer at the 1/8 inch mark, and we're gonna trim 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're gonna do 4 of these. You're making it along with me, Lindsay? Oh, I love you. Now we're cutting first, and then we're adding adhesive. If you feel better about adding adhesive sheets to the back of this, you certainly could. You would need a 1/2 inch by 12 inch piece of adhesive sheet right at the edge. But we're gonna take and just cut 1/8 inch strips, and then we're gonna do a trick with our seal adhesive. So I'm gonna grab these, set these in here. Let's stamp our pieces for our sentiments. Actually, you know what? Let's stamp those later. We'll stamp these as we finish the cards because we may want to look at them and decide, and that's what I did when I designed them too, is I said, okay, I want to make sure that I know what card looks more like a wedding card and what card looks more like whatever. Then the extra things besides the silver foil that we're bringing in, cardstock for the card bases. You need to put your layers onto new card bases because we just cut up all the beautiful card bases and envelopes from the kit. We're going to use basic white because basic white is a really great match for the white that is in this kit. Yay. We're also needing to replace the envelopes because we cut up all the envelopes. So you're going to need a package of the 40 basic white envelopes, which match the basic white cardstock. And 40 will definitely cover all 36 cards that you're making from this kit. So silver foil, basic white cardstock, and the basic white envelopes. You need additional adhesives because we typically do when we create. That's just a basic tool in my mind. And then I like to embellish. The silver foil just wasn't enough sparkle for me. So I brought in something else silver for a few of the cards. Rhinestones, the go-to. This is like one of the best embellishments you can invest in. If you're a beginning crafter, get kits, get some basic cardstock like I just shared with you, get envelopes, get trimmers. All these tools here will allow you to keep on creating with Kits Collection kits and Paper Pumpkin kits. You're gonna be able to make up lots of cards and lots of projects. So this isn't a full pack, obviously I've used it, but it's called Rhinestone Basic Jewels. So we'll be using those. And then like I said, for this kit, it does not come with stamps and ink, which makes it one of those kits that you could really crank out a lot of cards from, because when you buy additional ones, you're not buying an extra stamp set and an extra ink pad and getting duplicates of those things that you don't need. These types of kits that don't come with stamps and ink are perfect for purchasing over and over and over again. And guess what holiday is coming up that a lot of people like to gift for? Christmas, right? Or other holidays, maybe birthday or whatever you have coming up. But these would make great gifts, a set of cards for people, right? And how quick and easy they're gonna be. But we're gonna take and stamp some sentiments. So instead of having stamps in the kit, we do need to have some stamp images on hand that fit in those labels. And the stamp images from the photopolymer, which is great too, because you can see through them, the Beautiful Motifs stamp set is what we're gonna use. Clear stamps is what I'm talking about when I say photopolymer. You can actually see where you're stamping, when you're going to stamp your images down. So if you have this stamp set, this is the one I highly recommend. I think it works, the sentiments work great with the imagery. You could use any stamp images though, if they fit into your little labels, or you could just make new labels. But this is what we'll be using. And in addition to that, all the cards have a slightly different color, not all of them, but there's 3 different main colors in the kit. And so I chose Pecan Pie, Highland Heather, and Lost Lagoon for the inks to stamp the sentiments in. We're not going to make all 36 cards in this video. We're not even going to make all 12 from the 3. So I will walk you through 2 different cards. You guys get to pick. So I'm going to ask you, we're going to do a little poll here. I'm going to say, here we go. Purple, blue, or beige. Okay, so vote, and then we will make the 2 different cards, or I'm sorry, there would be four different cards from those colors, okay? So let's get some card bases ready as you are voting. We need, gosh, you're gonna need 36 card bases, so that would be 18 sheets of basic white cardstock. We will be using, if we were to do all 12, we would be using 6 sheets, because 18 divided by 3 is 6. And we're only gonna do a third of that, because we're choosing one of the colors to do today. So a third of 6 is 2 sheets. Let's do 2 sheets. We're gonna score at 4¼ inches, and then we're gonna rotate, and we're gonna cut at 5½. Once I share with you these 4 cards from one color combination, you are going to be able to do that with all 3 colors, okay? Because we've already shared how to do the cutting for all the pieces, and everything is pretty similar on all of the cards. Cut at 5½. Okay, and then the last thing is just doing some bone folding. Bone folding. We're going to use the bone folder. And we're going to connect the edges when we create our card base. There we go. We have a card base ready. Let's do 3 others. How is the voting going? Ooh, 73% of you want purple. We have purple fans here today. It is a very attractive color. Looks like purple is winning still. Sorry, I don't mean to be influencing the audience there. This is another perk about joining in on the live, is you get to vote sometimes. All right. Thank you for voting, everybody. We are going to end the poll, and it looks like the results of the poll are, 75% purple. You guys, I love it. All right, so we're going to bring in the purple cards. Well, I'm going to bring in the purple cards off to the side here so I can make sure I'm creating them for you correctly. And then I will have the rest of them ready to share with you. All right, so we're going to start with the easy peasy ones. And those are with the card layers. So let's grab those 2 purple card layers. Let's grab 2 card bases. And for the purple, we are using the flowers. So we're going to move these guys all aside and bring these in. And this is pretty gosh darn easy. We're going to take one of them and make it vertical. So we're going to lay that piece in front of us. And that, I think, is this one. Yes, it is. That's going to go on here. And we're making the dark part up high because I really want those flowers to stand out. So if you put your flowers against the darkest part of your card, it's really going to stand out the best. So that one we're going to have portrait. This one is, I'm sorry, this is portrait, this is landscape. Okay? And then we need one of our sentiments. I think we used a short one on this one, and we used a medium because there's 3 different sizes. Did you notice that, you guys? There are 3 different sizes in here. So let's just separate those out. It doesn't matter what they say on the back, but we have our separate sizes. We have a short one here, and then we have a medium one going here. Let's stamp our sentiments. And at this point, now that you know what your design is, you can easily say, oh, I want to use such and such words, okay? And I loved these because I thought that they were wedding-ish. So we're going to go ahead and pull out some wedding kind of sentiments. The wishing you love and happiness. And the love, wishing you love and happy. Oh, it's the same sentiment. Okay, this is what I did with this one. I'm so glad I'm demonstrating purple. For this one, we're going to stamp. Let's grab our block. We're going to stamp just a portion of it. So we do need some tape. We're going to mask off the lower half of our words. Okay, so we've covered up this bottom portion here with some tape. This is just Scotch tape, something that you would have in your drawer. And we're going to ink up our stamp. And you can try to ink it up so it's just inking up that portion, but when you have the tape there, it kind of protects the area too. We'll peel off the tape, and now we can stamp this into this one here. So we're going to go ahead and, I'm going to put this against something dark so you can see it re-moisten by exhaling onto it. Now we can hover over the top and stamp it down. Peel it off, and there we have wishing you love and happiness. For this one, we're just going to use the whole sentiment. And we're going to keep it horizontal. I know it looks like it won't fit, but it will. It's pretty cool. There is that one. So we have 2 wedding cards. Love it. We'll close this up to keep it safe. We're going to take a card base. Actually, we're going to work with these first. We're going to take our silicone sheet that we just had in here. Because these are laser cut imagery pieces, we want to make sure that we are being very careful with them as we glue. You could take like your precision tip bottle and go on the back side and kind of put your glue carefully here and there, but it's going to take a while. And it's going to possibly cause some of your areas to dry up before you finish gluing the whole back. So instead, we're going to do that trick that I shared with you earlier, where you take the silicone basting brush. There's a link to it, by the way, in the description of my video. But you're going to take this and the silicone sheet, and we're going to squeeze out a little bit of this glue onto the corner. We're going to do any bone folding tricks that we like at this point. We're going to curl up the ends of the leaves, holding carefully. We want to hold carefully so that those leaves do not break off, but I'm just curling up some of those leaves. Let's do this one too, just to give it a little bit more natural look to it, right? We have some little curls in there. Now we're going to flip it over and we're going to avoid the ends of the leaves. We're going to pounce. What I did is I trimmed off the ends, by the way, to make it so it's got like a stiffer, flatter edge to it. And now you can see all those little dots of glue. We're going to keep this in the same spot, and we're going to pounce our glue onto the back side. And you want to be careful as you're doing this to make sure that your paper underneath isn't moving. And I think mine did. Peel it up. Get it off your finger. The glue is still wet. We're going to hover, kind of balance this out where we think it needs to go. Lay that down. Press it in place. Peel off any glue from your fingers. Grab your dimensionals. We're going to scoot this aside for a minute. Grab your dimensionals either from the kit or your extra ones. And remember, when you're multiplying a kit, you're going to go through your dimensionals. So you need to have extra dimensionals on hand, which is why I always just have my extras anyways. And this will get placed under here. See how those stems kept going? We're just going to put that right up to where the stems are so that this is pretty centered. Sorry, let's center that better. Then we're going to flip it over. We're going to add 4 dimensionals, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Grab the take your pick tool, or you could grab your fingernail, or you could grab, see this one, this trick doesn't work for me as well as it does for other people, probably because I don't practice it enough. But yeah, you can take and peel off the backings that way, or you can use your fingernails or your scissors. Then we'll take our card base and we'll add it here. And because this just needed a little bit more bling, I grabbed my rhinestones. and the other end of my take your pick tool. I stuck a large one down here, and then I did a medium here and a small right here. And that's one finished card. Stunning, right? Okay, and then we will do this one. It's similar. In fact, I'm not even gonna do it. I'm just gonna show you the end result, okay? Because this is the same steps where you're gonna curl up the leaves. You're going to carefully pounce your glue onto the back side where it needs to go. You're gonna lay it in place while you're hovering your sentiment. Then you're gonna put dimensionals on the back, stick that down, dimensionals on the back, and stick that down. That one's gonna turn out to be like this. Really pretty. Isn't this pretty? This kit is just gorgeous. It has so many pretty elements to it. So, and I'm not doing anything to the inside. So you'll find in my blog post that I didn't photograph the insides of the cards. You could stamp sentiments on the inside, definitely. You could even embellish on the inside in some way. But these cards are definitely allowing us to do a lot of writing. Then we're gonna do the two other purple cards. So let's grab those layers. Here's a purple layer. And here's a purple layer. And I say purple because we not only have Highland Heather in here, but we can see Fresh Freesia is in there too. And the back of the kit instructions do list several colors: Balmy Blue and Lost Lagoon, Basic Beige and Pecan Pie, Fresh Freesia and Highland Heather. So you have a couple different Stampin' Up! Colors within. I just chose one from each for my ink colors. Okay, for these cards, we're going to use one of the purple sentiments, this one here, and we're going to use the long one because we used the short and the medium before, so we have a long one. For the long one, I chose the word celebrate. So we'll take and relax that stamp upside down, mount it by just connecting our block to it, opening up our stamp pad, grabbing our sentiment, putting it against something dark so we can see as we go. And we're gonna stamp this piece with the word celebrate right in the middle. So there's that one. Ooh, I kind of smudged it. Don't touch it right away, I guess. Okay, so there's that. And then, and we will put this aside because we don't need that anymore. Then we're gonna take care of these little folds. This is where this stuff comes in, okay? If you do 4 strips, you'll be able to do 12 cards. So you need kind of like a strip for every 3. That's a good way to think of it, okay? But you're not gonna use these strips on all your cards, but you definitely use a lot of it. So in fact, you probably won't use 4 total, but I definitely needed more than 3. So we're gonna put these all together. And if you're doing the whole kit, you can do groups of 3 instead of 4, but I'm gonna do 4 because that last one is gonna be hard to put adhesive on with the seal if it's really super skinny, like 1/8 of an inch. So we are gonna just do it right here all together. And we're laying our seal adhesive on there. And we kind of have to go back and forth across all the pieces. So we're just going back and forth like this and putting little strips along here with about 1/2 of an inch gap in between the sections of adhesive. I'm gonna hold this up so you can see it. I'm doing it like that. There you can see, excuse me, the adhesive is on there. Then when you wanna use it, when you've done the whole thing, you're gonna peel away and you're gonna add strips where these folds are. So we're gonna put one here. And on this piece, we're gonna put one, oops, make sure they don't stick together on you, here. And you can either do it above the score line or below, or you can you could even do it right on. You know, it's hard to do it in this brighter light. The lights are brighter when I do videos, you guys. Hang on. There we go. I just had to bring it up to my face a little bit. So there's that. And if you follow the score line, you don't even have to worry about using your grid paper for guidance. But you're going to be doing that on your envelope pieces all through the score lines. So now they become imaginary little strips of metallic ribbon, right? Next, we're going to take our card base and we're going to put it completely flat down on the surface of our card front. And you can do less adhesive, more adhesive, just as long as you have your 4 corners. We'll lay this down. We'll do the same thing with this one. This is our bigger piece. And we'll put that one down so that we have about a 1/16 of an inch showing all the way around the edges. Okay, so we're almost done. These cards are super simple, super easy, and gorgeous. We're gonna flip these 2 over, add dimensionals to the back sides. I really guess I don't need the smaller dimensionals. I don't know why I listed them. See, this is where the fingernails that are non-polished will work. You can, easily peel off. And then this one will get this sentiment, and we'll put it right about here. And when I'm putting it on there, I'm looking to make sure that this is about 3/8 of an inch from the edge of the card. You can see my little smudge there. It's okay, it's a hand-stamped card. And then this one, the same thing, where it's about 3/8 of an inch from the edge of this layer. I should say from the edge of the layer. Then these pieces here, you're thinking, why did I cut that many? Well, actually, I think I was wrong on that. Oh yeah, no, I was right. Okay, so then you're gonna need, for your other cards, right, you're gonna need 1, 2 for your beige, 1, 2 for your blue, but then you're gonna need little scraps, leftover scraps. And the leftover scraps are good for making ribbon ends. So we're gonna cut back and forth along these pieces here. I don't know why I just overlapped that. Hopefully we won't get any goo on there. Oh, we did. Shoot. Okay, so this one's gonna go on here like this. You know what, I'm gonna throw that one away because it got goo on it. Adhesive goo. We're gonna stick this one here. Actually I'm gonna tilt it this way. That's gonna go there, and this one's gonna go here. I had too many in my hands, that was the problem. I'm gonna do another cut right here. And on this one, we're gonna do a piece that goes like that, and a piece that goes like this. So they look like little ends of the ribbon now coming off of the card. And these are the finished ones. Same looking design. So I think that the faux ribbon really works well, especially if you, so here's another option. I think this is still available, but if you would rather have real ribbon, this is what I was trying to duplicate, was the silver trim. So we have a silver and gold trim, but it's on the last chance list, and I didn't want to risk making my final cards with them, but you could do that instead and actually have ribbon on your card. But this kind of gives it that look of having the ribbon on your card. Let's look at all the finished designs now. Okay, so we have, let's scoot these. We have 1, oops, and I'm gonna have to zoom out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have that many, and then we have the blue ones. You ready for the blue ones? Thank you, Bonnie. All right, so then we have the blue ones, and the blue ones are the birds. So here are the 2 bird cards. One's more balmy blue and one's more Lost Lagoon, but we also have that Lost Lagoon in here, which is why I chose Lost Lagoon for the ink. You've been on my mind. Thank you for everything. You can see how I had these leaves kind of popped up on top of the sentiment. So I didn't put glue behind any of this part of the branch or any of this part of the branch. The rest of it is glued down. Then on this one, I just curled up these extra outside leaves. Okay, so those are the blue ones. And these are the blue branches. Just a little note, this comes from the kit, and the thank you for everything is the same one I used on this card here. And then the beige ones. And the beige ones, for this one, remember that fern piece kind of had a flat edge there. So we just put it right up against the edge of that layer. I'm always here for you is what I stamped with the pecan. And then for this one, I put a branch going down here because that branch actually had a flat edge too. And then one coming out. And in the middle is where I stuck the sentiment to cover up that they were two separate pieces. So there's that one. Can we see them all? And then the last two are from the envelopes. You make the world a better place and thinking of you. Ta-da! Wasn't that fun? Oh my gosh. All right, I hope I inspired your creativity. News, what kind of news do we have? Some of you have been asking me about Halloween products. The mini catalog just released on September 3rd. But if you recall, we had some online exclusive products release too. And 2 months ago is when Stampin' Up! Added in to the online exclusive products a bunch of Halloween products. If you go to the online store, and I will just take you through there via my website. How does that sound? So let's go over to my blog at stampyourartout.com. And we're going to just scroll to where it says shop online. We're going to open up a tab for shopping. And when you are here, you can go into the search bar and just write the word Halloween. That has helped me to find all the current Halloween products. If you're interested in making Halloween treats, Halloween cards, Halloween gifts of any sort, this is where you can find a bunch of things that have Halloween related products in them. They're releasing them earlier than the quote unquote, what we used to have quote unquote as the holiday catalog. We used to call it the holiday catalog, but that's when the holiday catalog started in, I think it was August. It now releases in September, which is sort of late for a lot of people to get their Halloween crafting done. So now, because we have online options, online exclusives, and if you don't know about that yet, I want to show you. You go to menu, shop, and then click on online exclusives. Online exclusives is going to take you to products that are not in any publication. There is a whole bunch of them. So I really encourage you to get online and look at the options. They're sorted by newest. Typically, you could sort by low to high prices. You could sort by A to Z, however you want to sort. But these are products that are only online. They are not showing up in the publications. All right, so I hope that that helps a lot of you to navigate your shopping experiences at this time of year. Also, October 4th, which is just a few weeks away now, can you believe it? That is going to be World Card Making Day, and it's celebrated by several paper crafting companies out there. Stampin' Up! Celebrates by hosting a virtual event that anybody can attend. People like me who are demonstrators can attend. People like you who may be demonstrators, but also just people who purchase Stampin' Up! And you're not even on the demonstrator side of things. Anybody can attend this event. You just want to go to the online store and you're going to be clicking on, and I'm going to show you that now. The menu, it's called What's New. My head is in the way, but you're going to click on What's New, and then you're going to click on World Card Making Day. Another way to get to that is just to click the logo up here at the top and wait for the banner, or click on these things so that the banner comes up, and then click on Register Now. It's going to bring you to the same page where you can learn about World Card Making Day and what Stampin' Up! Is offering for us. You'll want to join. It's free to join, and then you get a little gift at the end. So why not, right? Take advantage of this opportunity to craft along. See this kit? this is the next kit I'm doing alternates with. Yes, I was encouraged. A lot of you said, are you going to be doing alternates with the one that they're using for the World Card Making Day? And I am. In fact, I'm going live that week in the morning on October 4th before the event is, and I'm going to show some alternates. And then when you go to that event, you can choose to do the cards that they're creating with you, or you can choose to do the alternates that I shared because you will have just watched that video. So thank you, Jamie. Oh, thanks, Julaine. All right, so any other news that I want to tell you before I let you go? I think that's it. Make sure that if you're wondering when I'm going to go live, you can just look at the descriptions in my live videos. There is a link to my calendar. You can also, on my YouTube channel, click on the see more. I think it's like ... see more. And when you click on that, you can see links for my Facebook page, Instagram, all of that stuff. And there is a link to my calendar there as well. So just go ahead and click on that calendar and you can see that's the one that I will typically change if I have to like make a change. That's the one I change first. Okay. So that is the master calendar for my lives. I love you all. Thanks so much for joining me. Oh, wait, one more thing. If you want to get any of these products, you can click on the links that are in the description of the video. You can also just go to my website, stampyourartout.com, and click on the shop button, and then that will take you to shopping these products. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to let you go now. It is on the hour. Take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.